Didn't mean to get that close.
Well, howdy, and welcome back to another exciting episode of RC Restomod. Today we're going to be doing some work on RC dirt oval cars. Now, I have a problem, and I'm going to freely admit it's a first world problem, but we've embarked on our club in San Angelo, Texas, has embarked on a series with a track in Abilene, Texas, about 90 miles apart. And back in December, they had a big race, and several of our guys, and me included, went up there to race. And I took my street stock as one of the cars I was going to race. And let me tell you, brothers and sisters, it was terrible. I could not get it to rotate through the center of the corners. And all the way home, I thought about, I didn't want to adjust it at the track because I was worried that I'd make it less fast when we got back to San Angelo. And so I was a bit frustrated, and I was thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And it dawned on me that I had done some modifications to this that I knew made it made it tighter in the turns, but I made up for that by straightaway speed. But the track in Abilene does not have as much banking as ours does, so the modifications I made that hurt its turn through the center really, really showed themselves, and I had to nearly stop to turn. Anyway, because the car had all these mods that make it a little bit tight to turn, the banking can overcome them at our track. But in Abilene, there is no banking, so there's nothing to overcome these, and it was pretty bad. And I thought about what it would take to change it. It would take a lot of time, effort, and tuning. And I decided what was a smarter option and more fun was to do this. Boom! I bought this car from one of my friends here. It's not race ready. First off, it's got some really goofy body pins, and those are going in the trash. We'll save that little silver one, but the big uglies are gone. This body, first off, it's boxy, it's not aerodynamic, it's broken in a few places, and it's a Chevrolet, and I'm a Ford guy, so it's out. What we do have is a clean little associated SR10 chassis, which is the same chassis as the red car. So I've got spare parts already. I've got kind of a clue on how to adjust it to make it perform better. And I know where all the pieces go. I know what size the screws are. It ought to speed things up. Anyway, when I was looking it over, I found out that I've got suspension and shocks that are in good nick. They're in really good shape. I'm going to rebuild the shocks to put the weight of oil I want in all of them. It does not have any electronics. No servo, no ESC, no motor, no receiver. And something else I noticed that was strange was that it only had one battery strap, which is not enough to secure them, especially when they wreck. So I got some parts to help us out with that. From my stash of goodies, I already had this 13.5 turn, 2-pole, class legal motor. So we're going to use that. I didn't have a servo, so I got the same servo that's in my other street stock car. I've been very pleased with it. It's a pretty inexpensive servo, but it holds up well. I needed that car still has the servo saver on it, and I know that those associated servo savers they put in those cars are weak. So I bought a solid aluminum servo saver to go on it. Didn't even think to check and see if that's got a slipper clutch in it. If so, if not, that could really mess things up. This is the size of spur gear I use in the red car, and I was out, so I got two in case this one needs the same one. These are DR10 rear hubs and rear C and D blocks, and this will let me dial in a little bit of rear steer and get rid of the symmetrical toe in that the car currently has, which is not optimum for turning left-hand circles. And then from Amazon, I got some Hobby Park battery straps in the appropriate length. They come in a 6-pack, so I'll have enough to do 4 more cars after this is all said and done. And then finally, to get rid of that busted up boxy Chevrolet body, we have a McAllister Crowd Pleaser Mustang. I think that's going to be a pretty sharp little race car, and hopefully it'll be aerodynamic and fast. My thoughts are that if I'm lucky, I'll be mediocre in Abilene, fast in San Angelo, and hopefully finish as one of the best of the rest when the final points come out. Who knows? Sleek as that body is, we might be okay, and we might be decent in Abilene and fast in Angelo and finish on the podium. We'll see. I guess the first thing to do is to get this cover off and make sure I've got a slipper clutch in there, because if I don't, I'll have to order it. Oh, and you may have noticed a glaring exception here. If I didn't show you an ESC, I thought I had an ESC, but the ESC I have is not compatible with that motor. So Amazon says my other one will be here day after tomorrow, which is good because 3 days after that, I'm supposed to race it. So let's get that cover off and see what we've got for a slipper clutch. Oh, there's no slipper inside. Let me take a pause and get one of those ordered so we can get it quickly. All right, guys, had to take a little break and steal the slipper clutch off of my other street stock car. And the next thing I'm going to have to do is take the transmission out of the back of here so that we can change the fluid that's inside the differential that's buried way down back in there. So I'm going to get to ripping this thing apart, and then we'll go from there. All right, doing disassembly. We're going to start by taking the rear bumper off because it's in the way. You can't get to the transmission with it on there, and it wasn't entirely easy to get loose. There's lots of hidden screws and junk. All right, once it came loose, transmission came out pretty quickly. Now we got to take the transmission apart, which is more screws. And once we finally got them all out, checked them to make sure they're all the same length, and they were, which is handy. Now we're going to check all the bearings, and surprisingly all the bearings were good up inside this transmission. Now we got to pull the differential apart. My pliers weren't cooperating. They got rusted up somehow, but anyway, got them fixed now. Now we're going to get it apart. We're going to try to get all the little pieces clean, and then we'll start putting it back together here in a second. This is at 20 times the speed it actually took, so you're welcome for that, guys. Anyway, put it all back together, and something wasn't quite right when I began putting it back together. We'll cover that here in just a second. Okay, that's a surprise to me. There is a slight difference in these outriggers, and it may just be the way mine were manufactured. This outrigger was tight when installed on this side, and it's very free when it's installed on the other side, and this one is very free when installed on this side. So there is a slight difference between these that is going to affect performance at the track. Alright, after figuring out the problem with the outdrives, going back together, got the differential going back together there for the second time. And yeah, it's taking forever. Got a little lube in it. Now we got all the little screws going back in. Alright, now we put the transmission back together. Alright guys, we had to deal with a dead battery. So while I was doing that, I put the transmission back together, cleaned it up a little bit. It's just about ready to go back in. I think I'll go ahead and put the borrowed slipper clutch back in it. Or not back in it, but just in it for the first time. That part's all very free and ready to go back in the car. Now, while we've got it apart, this would be a real good time to change out these rear bearing hubs because it's easier to get to without all this stuff in the way. All right, I've also got these C and D blocks that go up in here and out here. And right now, I mean, the transmission has to come out to change them anyway. So now's a good time to do that. So that's what I'm going to do. Just when you thought we were moving forward, we're moving backwards again, taking pieces apart. Got to get the shock towers off because they're all kinds of in the way of getting to that C block. It's buried up in there pretty good. So that piece came off, another piece came off, and then some screws come out the bottom. And once I got it apart, I discovered that piece was very dirty. Okay, got that part all cleaned up. It's ready to go back on. See, looks much better. Let me demonstrate why we're making this change. These pins that hold your A-arms on go through this piece, through the A-arm, and then through this piece when they're installed on the car. I think it actually goes like that. But anyway, that's what holds your car on. That's what holds the A-arm on. And the way that the factory sets the cars up, the rear tires are towed in like 2 degrees on either side, which is great for going in a straight line. It keeps the car stable, puts a little bit of a preload on each rear tire so it just goes straight. We're going in circles, so we want to change that up. And by putting these pieces in, you get these little pills that go in them. And you'll note, I don't know if you can see that, but the holes are not centered. Some of them are, some of them are not. But with them being off center, it will allow me to set the arms in kind of like that. And it'll take out some of the it'll take out the toe in that we've got there. We may accentuate it here and take some out over here so that when it gets to the corner, the car will track around the corner much better, because we need the left rear tire to take a tighter turn than the right rear tire, if that makes any sense at all. That's what we're after, and that's why we bought these parts. Now we're going to install them. While the A-arms are off would be a really good time to replace the bearing holders out here. So tell you what, let me pick up all these little pills. I'll keep out the ones I need, and I'll go ahead and swap the bearings over and clean and reinstall these hubs, and then I'll show you how the hubs go on and how they adjust the angle as well to make it also get a little bit of rear steer, and we'll be back to do that. Alright guys, back at it today. Getting a bit of a mess. I either need a bigger table or I need to be more organized in what I'm doing. Well, we got the old rear hubs off, got the old C and D block pieces off, got a ton of pieces laying here waiting to go back in. I found 3 of the 4 rear wheel bearings in this thing were bad, but I had new ones in stock. On the left side, I'm going to put all the spacers behind the hub, and on the right side, I'm going to put all the spacers in front, which is going to keep the wheelbase slightly shorter on the left-hand side, because I know that a vehicle with a shorter wheelbase will make a tighter turn, which should make this side of the car capable of a tighter turn than the right side. As it goes through a left turn, the left side of the car does need to make a tighter turn. So that should help it get through the corners. It works on the other car, we're going to see if it works on this one. If not, it's not a terrible thing to change. Okay, got that in with the spacer behind, and you can see that spacer's only, it's probably 1/8 of an inch-ish, which is probably actually a true metric size, but anyway, it'll change the wheelbase by double that, so that ought to make the wheelbase about 1/4 inch longer on the right than on the left. Will it make a difference? I don't know. Makes me feel smart to do it though. Alright guys, here we are at Four-Way Speedway in Abilene, Texas, getting ready to race tonight. And we have finished the street stock that I built for the series that we're having with these guys. And there she is. I'm not particularly happy with the body, but I did make one pretty good screw up. The body flared way out when I cut the flange off the bottom. I heated it up a little bit and tried to fold it in and ended up with a big dent right there. But full-scale street stocks get built out of cars that get pulled out of the junkyard. So we've got that aesthetic going on. We'll have to see how it runs now. Alright guys, here we go for ball one. The way this works is once the tone starts, it starts counting your time, and you just cover as many laps as you can, and then if there's a tie for number of laps, it ranks you by the total elapsed time, which will be less than the time of your last lap. Okay, so here's the car going, and guys, as bad as this car looks right now, the way it's getting around the track, I was actually very proud of my driving, because the car was trying so hard to spin. I had to be so gentle with the steering and the throttle to keep it on balance. And the problem with that is if I got the least little bit off the line, or I had the slightest little contact with somebody, it would mess me up for probably more than a lap. Ooh, almost got Roger there. It's funny, his car looks blue on the video. It's purple in real life. But you can see some of these laps, the car looks pretty good. And just so you know, that's me being a stud with the controller, because that thing was terrible. Oh, there you go. Single spin all by myself. Head on with Jacob, and Jacob, if you see this, I apologize. That was me, man. Gotta do something to make this car a little better. Oh, another spin that's my fault. And had a little help getting out of the groove that time, but we're doing all right. Hey, now.
Oh, come on, car.
Hey. Had a lot of help going around that time. And none whatsoever that time. This was frustrating. And this was after I put in probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 laps of practice before the races started, and tried several adjustments, and I left in the one adjustment that it seemed to like and left out the ones. You gotta let me go. Left out the ones that the car seemed to absolutely hate. There were several of those. Got some ideas on what I can do to improve it for next time, but I was there and the car was what it was, and it wasn't very good. Oh, that was I think Bryce and I kind of combined for that little wreck. But guys, when you got a bad race and you got to live it over on your head on the way home, it's frustrating. But when you have to watch it a few times to edit the video, this is torture, man. Oh. All right, now I'm all by myself. If something goes wrong, it's on me. And see, when I'm out, when I've got room and I'm not worried about what other people are doing, the car seems to race pretty good. Yeah, sorry about that, Roger. Oh, I said that move right there looked pretty good. I wish it had been on purpose. But the spin all by myself at the other end didn't look so good. I'm not going to talk about the other race. We're just going to let you watch it. This thing is just torture for me to watch it all over again. Saved by the bell.
It's in the middle now.
All right, everybody, time to start it.
Come on, car.
One, two, clear. We got the next row, we got Aiden, Jim, Cameron, Roger, Jerry. 36, Jerry 32, Lemon 32, Roger 30. Second heat street stocks will be on the wall. Second heat street stocks will be on the wall. That was strictly a Robinson move right there. A number one. Now it's not going to happen like it did before. It's not going to happen like it did before. All right, keep going till I call your name. Keep going till I call your name. Cannon, you're done. Roger, you're done. Lambert, you're done. Jim and Jerry, you're done. Cannon 38 out of 402, Jim 37 out of 401, Lambert 33 out of 402, Jerry 32, Roger 30.